Gentlemen, the map is Ohana, and down at the bottom right-hand corner we have our orange Protoss player from MVP. It is Tails. His opponent
always
here
orange.
In the upper left-hand corner, always orange. You're exactly right. Got to be, hopefully it's that Sonic character, man. In the top left-hand corner, the former Next player, the former then Zen X player, now playing for StarTale. It's our pink Zerg player, Pet.
Who's your favorite Sonic character?
My favorite Sonic character is the most broken one, Knuckles.
That's what I was gonna say. I love Knuckles, man. Like there was a game, Sonic and Knuckles, and I always flew. I thought it was awesome that he could fly with his hands somehow. I don't know how. He's magical.
Broke the game. You could just climb up walls and then fly over the top of everything. It totally broke the game. The best part too was, did you have the cartridge where you could put the other Sonic games into it, and then you could play Knuckles in those games too? Yeah, it broke those games.
Yeah, he broke the actual games themselves. He was such an OP character. Never got nerfed.
Yep.
Please nerf. But nonetheless, man, I love me some Sonic. It was really fun playing that back in the day. I actually watched the cartoon show as well, and I watch it nowadays, and it was absolutely horrible. Like the worst voice acting, but it was cool just seeing Sonic run really quickly. We're in PvZ, man. We'll see what the action is going to entail for our players. We've been seeing a lot of players starting to learn how to hold Sentry Immortal all in. Tails not really accustomed to going Sentry Immortal. He's done it a couple times, but he's more gateway-oriented when it comes to two-base attacks.
And we are playing on Ohana. That's a map that lends itself to strong two-base play anyway. And we have Tails, who, as you already mentioned before, is very well known for going for strong two-base aggression. So we'll see if Pet's going to be prepared for this. Nothing too weird out of either of our players so far. Forge first, that is going to allow for a... pylon up the front, maybe wanting to start... Well, at least pull some drones off the line to feign some cannon pressure right away.
That was funny, though, because usually you throw an Overlord over above the natural. Yeah, going straight for it. That's cool where he's going to put it, though, because usually you put the Overlord over the natural so you can see if there's anything behind your middle line, but he's just going to do it in front, and it was just completely going to throw off Pet. But Pet does scout it. First drone does come down. Will get denied right away. He needs to bring a couple more drones.
Yeah, he's actually going to need to cancel this pylon. Oh no, there is room for another photon cannon back there. Never mind, I take that back. I thought that
Tails, man.
He was actually out of room, and he traps a drone in between the pylons too. That's very cool stuff.
Oh, poor Pet here, doing really well in our bracket on this international qualifier, and getting photon cannon rush in the first game of the semifinals is something you gotta be prepared for. Only one photon cannon here actually, so it can be held. And if your spawning pool finishes up, get a queen out, you can focus it down really quickly. The problem is getting lings onto it. It's a really huge commitment, so we'll see what Pet's gonna do.
I just want to see Pet give Tails a taste of his own game and just go super aggro after this anyway.
That would be cool to see a 7 roach rush. I think that would actually throw off Tails a lot. Yeah. He played pretty greedy early. But on Canada now will start beating down on the hatchery. We'll see if he's going to cancel it. Yes, he does. That's the last second. Nice job there.
Last possible instant too. I mean, that was like, I always love that too when it's the building's like, I'm done. No, I'm dead. How does it turn back into a drone at that point is what I want to understand.
I don't know, man. Drones are magical, that's for sure. Lings do pop out. And now Pet didn't even go at... Sometimes he bring another drone down and go to that third and get it on the way. That way you at least have it halfway done so you can still move up in economy. But he expanded it way afterwards. So yeah, the Roach Horn is going to be on the way. So it definitely looks like he's going to get aggressive. Use the larva that pops out of this hatchery and just push across the middle of the map and try and get damage done. A lot of damage done.
And he certainly has a possibility of going through these destructible rocks too. This photon cannon's in a place where it's not going to watch the entire ramp, so that delays him a little bit, but it depends on how much Tails decides to commit up the front. Now he's already building a pylon off to the side so we can get a cannon down there just in case. But if he decides to go super bunker up at the front, then that may be an option for Pet.
Well, he will pop out in the natural. There is the over there as well, so you can tell if Tails comes down and check those rocks. We'll see what the plan is for him. Roach Horn has finished up. 5 are now on the way. Does have gas to create a couple more as soon as he gets some mineral intake as well, but man, this is going to look so sad. We need to have Tails throw a third photon cannon up, and then he'll be completely safe.
All right, and Tails keeping an eye on that set of destructible rocks for a while. Been watching him click over there a couple of different times just to make sure that all the health is still remaining. Fine. Let's see here now as Cybernetics Core is starting to research Warp Gate, but there is another photon cannon warping in somewhere. Yeah, 2 up at the front, and this is what I thought might happen. He's going to decide to just power down the destructible rocks.
Well, he's now breaking down right away. You need to check those rocks out as soon as possible, Tails. He's currently selected his own Nexus here, trying to keep pro production up. Is unaware of it quite yet. He does.
Well, he does have range of it, so if you have all health bars on, even neutral things like this still reveal their health, correct? So yeah, I mean, so he should be able to see it. Yeah.
Well, Sentry will be able to start dealing with these Lings. It looks like Pet will be forced to pull back. Even that Sentry being down on a couple of Lings, that still hurts the push that's coming. Roach's wall move in and go straight out to the cybernetics core. Gonna need to do a little bit of Michael here, but Pet making a couple of mistakes, taking a little bit too much damage on the Roaches. There we go. Will pull it back right away, and now he's starting to beat down. I don't know, man. 3 photon cannons on the way. If these complete, Pet won't be able to get anything done, really. And he's running up behind it and going straight into the lair, but huge investment in economy.
It's still rough. Now, in players that have had similar situations in the past, I have seen transition right over, and he is actually going to get the cybernetics core, so very cool stuff there. Another one was already started, but that does set his opponent back for a while, and is going to prevent that very characteristic warp gate aggression that we sometimes see out of Tails, which is certainly a nice touch. I have seen some players, though, that have decided, oh, okay, he's going to go for the Nidus approach, but that have been able to actually play the starve-out style of Mutalisks after this has been done.
Where is his Overlord here? Okay, he's got one in the middle of the map. It's actually moving its way down to the bottom right. But Tails is... They always get one there at the natural as well. But Tails is doing a good job of having his whole entire main pretty much covered, and essentially it's lit up. He's got a pylon on the top, he's got a pylon on the top right. I think there's a small sliver if we're going to clip to this top right of the main. No, that's all covered. This is going to be really hard for him to pull it off. Now, he can kind of sneak one in. One tactic that's really nice, if you see someone throw a building down, you throw it right next to the building because they won't look at that building for a while.
Right.
But still, it's going to be hard for him to get it down, but this is definitely the ace in the hole he's trying to try and go for.
I always love the trick as well of whenever your opponent gets hit with another notification, meaning as soon as you start an engagement, you start the Nidus Worm at the same time so their attention is drawn somewhere else because of a ping that happened on the map or something along those lines. That's always fun.
That's certainly what works. Have a couple of Lings dart in and attack something. Well, Twilight Council now on the way here. Tails is going to move up and hit deck. A lot of Roaches, a lot of Lings on the way. Nidus network has been popped, and he actually did successfully get it there. So, going to go ahead and get these Roaches straight into the main, and Tails like, oh snap, I only have sentries. I got to do something.
Yeah, and he doesn't have Warp Gate because of before, so he has to actually hard produce these units, and we're not going to see anything for about 45 seconds. He's immediately trying to go after this the Nidus network, which is a very nice touch, but now 3 gates are depowered. There's just 1 Immortal up, and that's not going to last very long against these Roaches.
Roaches starting straight forward. Decent force field here to actually land all these Roaches here. The probes come in from behind and close it in. The Immortals tearing through these Roaches. That was actually really good. It will do some damage to the probes, but wow, he's actually going to be able to hold this.
Yeah, Tails, that's pretty effective. Oh, if he loses the Immortal on top of it, though, that would be very bad, and he does. And that actually didn't have to go down. He could have backed that out a little bit earlier in the Sentry, so would have been able to deal with the rest. But as it stands, a little bit of damage done on both sides. Certainly Tails is very annoyed as a result of all of this, and the game has stabilized just a little bit.
Sick engagement, though. That was very impressive. And also using the Immortal kill up the Nidus, the extra damage to buildings makes it die really quickly. It's already a weak building by itself, but you get an Immortal on it, it's essentially pulp. Gonna go ahead and get rid of this creep tumors here. Does he have an observer on the way? No. He's just getting Immortals out just to make sure he's defended for anything. Can we pull up the Harvester's tab really quick? I just want to see where everyone's at. 43 to 30, so Pet's still behind. Because he was still pumping out Roaches and Lings, he didn't think the Nidus was going to go down.
Right.
So now he has all these units just popping around outside. He has 10 and I believe 6 Lings that could have been drones. If he was going to drone up behind that. He wasn't expecting Tails to engage that so darn well.
Yes, and this is a difficult position for him to be in now. Tails actually going after Blink after this, starting to get more Immortals. Could just decide to make a big Immortal Sentry push here in just a bit if he doesn't want to expand. You notice his opponent is down just a little bit. And really, Pet is caught between a rock and a hard place because he has to invest in economy. But if he doesn't invest in economy, then he's giving up the tech advantage and the army advantage simultaneously. And the army advantage is pretty much the only thing that he's carrying right now.
Well, he is moving to Infestors. It makes it a little bit easier for him to defend, but again, as you mentioned, he needs a 3rd hatchery. You just cannot live off of your opponent that's actually going to go for a 3rd base. This is one of those times that Tails is good on 3 bases because he has a huge advantage, so he can go that route. And then he can fall up into, what, 8, 9, 10 gateways if you really, really wanted to be crazy and go for an all-in, which is something that he loves to do, just have so many gateway units that he can micro them all.
All right, well, we'll see here if Pet can get in and do any damage. He still has the potential to get a good surround on these units and, try and stabilize that way somehow, but it's still going to be a very difficult task.
Well, Lings and Roaches are going to pop in. They do not have speed, by the way. Speed is finally a little bit over halfway done, but he had to cut speed to get that Nidus network down as soon as possible. So surrounds will be hard, but it is doable. Zealous doing a good job of hugging these sentries, though. Making him really hard to be surrounded as well.
It looks like Pet's just going to do a 2-base all-in here. I mean, he's got 4 Immortals coming up, a ton of Lings, so he's not really investing in his economy. He wants 1/1 upgrades, he wants speed, he wants a bunch of units, and he's just going to go to town. Nice little counterattack here, and he is actually going to force, well, no, Tails actually not backing back home, just going to go for it here. There's not that many units out here for Pet. He is going to need to land some great fungal growths to be able to stop this army in its tracks.
These are one of the things that's really characteristic of Tails is he'll go straight for the counterattack every single time, so you've got to be ready for it. And Pet just quite wasn't. And it looks like his hatchery could be going down. If he can kill his hatchery and then move his way back home, oh my gosh, that would have to just GG, I feel like.
Tails is worried about this army back at home a little bit, though, and he's actually lost a few of his sentries kind of carelessly. Now, of course, he kills the base, he gets his opponent down to just 1 hatchery, and Tails is still at an advantage, but I just want to, mention that he's been a little bit miscontrolled.
Well, Roaches are trying to focus up at Nexus. You need to kill it off. If it lives, Pet would be so behind. And you will get it. Zelts are getting some damage, though, onto these Roaches. They will scurry away with that speed, but there's actually an army about to cut them off.
Yeah.
Can he get there in time? That would be such a that would be a nail on the coffin. I feel so bad for Pet right now. He's so far behind off war base. He's trying to double expand, but this huge army is just moving in the middle of the map freely.
Oh, wow. No, that's actually only 1 hatchery coming up. This is just a blob of units that's sitting over that one. So he actually only has money to make 1 hatchery. Could start another one now if he so desired, but things are still getting really rough. He still does have that Nidus network, so possibly that can come into play a little bit later. Maybe try a last-ditch, just throw units into his opponent's base. Second robotics facility is on the way, so we are going to see double Colossus production momentarily, and Tails is just so far ahead in so many respects.
Yeah, the robotics bay helps him so much. He starts getting area effect damage there as well. He's going to melt these infestors as well as the infested Terrans as well, because they don't have the advantages that Patch actually went through before this international qualifier as well. So the eggs will just melt to a couple of Colossus. Well, we do have a 3rd hatchery on the way. Got to go for something really crazy here. Maybe an expansion down the bottom left. I know it's like a huge investment, but you kind of have to hope that your opponent's trying to go for a crazy tech, and then maybe you can move yourself into an advantage with some maybe fungals and then a good surround.
I mean, the one thing that Pet does have going for him, though, besides maneuverability, is that his tech is pretty reasonable at this stage of the game.
It's nice.
Yeah, on infestors, on roaches, he can make a reasonable stand against what his opponent is going to throw at him. The issue is, of course, once his Colossus number starts going up, he's really going to need to add on Spire eventually, but just to invest into that right now would be disastrous.
Yeah, Pet moving into 2-1 at the moment. If we can get a click on a unit for Tails and see what his upgrades are at, it looks like he's moving up as well. So he has 1-0, actually. He's going to be moving towards 2-0. So having a 2-1 finish up when your opponent has 2-0 could be good for Pet.
Yeah.
There's always that option.
Now, this is where we as commentators, we're not trying to, say, oh, Pet is clearly on even ground with his opponent or anything like that. It's just the game is still going on right now.
It's StarCraft, man.
So we can't sit here and just be like, oh, well, clearly Tails has got this wrapped up. We might as well just quit the replay and go to the next one.
Yeah.
As there is always a potential that Pet gets out there, whether through good creep spread, which he's actually doing a good job of right now, I just want to add, and a miracle engagement. He can find himself back in this.
Yeah, that's one of the things about StarCraft, man. Is things can happen. That's what people love to watch it for, because a comeback would be amazing for Pet right now. I'd be so happy for him. Stalker's moving forward right away, grabbing that Zelnaga. We do have 3 Colossi here. Thermal Lance is popping at this moment as well. Moving into a Warp Prism. Full-on aggression is available here for Tails.
Yeah, and he's about maxed out, so I mean, this is a very powerful force making its way across the map, and Pet did decide to go up to that Spire, but it's not going to be done in time to get any Corruptors out to be able to deal with these Colossi. He's just going to have to hope and pray that these Infestors and Roaches are going to be enough.
All right, well, moving forward right away. He's gotten into a position here where Force Fields get really strong.
Yes.
He moves up just a little bit more. Force Fields are nearly perfect. Here comes the engagement from the back. We have a flank, and Infested Terrans are being tossed down. And he's just going to go ahead and retreat, make him lose a little energy. Fine with me, I'll just pull back to my 3rd, chill, do some macro real quick, and then I'll come back in when they're dead.
And the worst part about that, too, is that Pet had to do that.
Yes.
He had to take the chance that Tails would just rush forward and that was his final attack, but it didn't matter. And now these Infested Terrans are just getting slaughtered because the rest of the army isn't there to support him.
Clever play from Tails here. Now moving straight in the 3rd. There is a flank available. We do have some units coming in from the back here. There are a couple of Roaches, but Stalkers are left behind. Nice job here from Tails. He has so many units, he can actually dedicate some of them that dealing with the Hatchery in the top right corner and then dedicate a few that deal with the Roaches. He just has so much. These Infested Terrans these Infestors low on energy. GG has been called. Tails taking game number 1.
All right, congratulations to him there. And we're actually just one game away from a PvP Grand Finals here at this international qualifier. Pets, don't think that was a true testament to his overall skill there. But Tails with a pretty easy win in that game.
That's something you do against a player that might not have as much experience. He's getting to the semifinals. He's getting anxious. Oh my gosh, I'm getting really far in the tournament. I've been working so hard. This is maybe my moment. Oh no, I just got photon cannon rush and I didn't pay attention. Darn it. A little thing slips like that and it's going to be hurting you. So that could be the mentality behind this. So we'll go ahead and get ready for game number 2, guys. Tails versus Pet coming at you.